it does interfere with our sound system. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Nasty business all good. So you mean to tell me that you can find anything helpful from the still here people? You know what? Dash it. They know something.
They're ordinary, decent, seafaring folk. They know that the island was bought by a man called Mr. Owen, but that's about all they do know. Oh, and that it was Isaac Morris who made all the arrangements down in Sicklehaven, represented himself as acting for Mr. Owen. And it was he who explained to the people down there was some experiment on some bedbelt living on a desert island for a week, and that no notice was to be taken of any appeal for help from out there. Frederick Nericott, that's the woman who took the party out there, did say one thing that was illuminating. She said she was surprised to see what sort of people these were. I think it was the fact they were all so normal and quiet that made her override Morse's orders and take out a boat to the island after she heard about the SOS signals.
When did she and the other men go?
The signals were seen by a party of Boy Scouts on the morning of the 11th. The men got there on the afternoon of the 12th, at the first moment possible to run above the shore there. They were all quite positive that nobody could have left the island before they got there.
Couldn't somebody swim ashore?
It's over a mile to the coast, and there were heavy seas and big breakers inshore.
Well, what about that river former that you found in this house?
I've been into that. It was supplied by a firm that do a lot of theatrical stuff and film effects. It was sent to UNO and was understood to be required for the amateur performance of a hit-thrown actor play. The typescript of it was returned with the record.
What about the subject matter, eh?
I'm coming to that, sir. I've investigated these accusations as thoroughly as I can. Well, yes.
Oh, they already have remembered everything.
I think so. Lemons, pretzels, eggs, cream, tomatoes, and butter. That's all, wasn't it?
Yep, that's right. So much to do with such little time. All these guests arriving today, their maids not coming until tomorrow.
Oh, calm down, Ethel. Everything looks nice, doesn't it, Frederick?
Looks neat enough for me. Kind of bare, but rich folks like places bare, clean.
Rich folks is queer.
And he was a queer sort of gentleman that's built this place. Spent a wicked lot of money on it, he did. And then gets tired of the whole thing and puts it up for sale.
Beats me why the owners wanted to buy it, living on an island.
Oh, come off it, Ethel, and take all that stuff out into the kitchen. You'll be here any minute now.
Make the next deep climb and juice for a drink, I suppose, like some others I know.
That be young Jim. I'll be getting along. There are two gentlemen arriving by car, I understand.
Remember, I should want at least 5 loaves in the morning and 8 pints of milk.
Right.
Oh, and don't forget to order for the engine tomorrow, Frederick. I'll have to charge up on my license right now.
Suppose I don't come around. It's at the station now. I'll bring it across first thing tomorrow.
And will you get help with the luggage?
Right.
I forgot to give you the list of gifts, Mom.
Oh, thanks, old girl. Doesn't look a very classy lot to me. Miss Claiborne. She'll probably be your secretary.
I don't hold much with secretaries, much like the hospital nurses, and then giving their airs and graces and looking down upon the servants.
Oh, stop your growling, Ethel, and get back to that leveling, up-to-date kitchen of yours.
Too many new little gadgets for my fancy.
So this is it.
How perfectly lovely.
Miss Claiborne.
You are Roger?
Yes, miss.
Good evening, Rogers. Will you bring up my luggage and Captain Lombard?
Very good, miss.
You've been here before?
No, but I've heard an awful lot about this place.
From Mr. and Mrs. Owen.
No, old Johnny Brewer, a pal of mine, built this place. It's a sad and poignant story.
A love story?
The saddest of all, he fell in love with the famous Lily Logan. Married her, bought this place, and built this place for her.
Sounds most romantic.
Poor Johnny. He thought by cutting her off from the rest of the world, not even telephone as means of communication, he could hold her.
But of course, the fair Lily tied up her ivory tower and escaped.
Uh-huh. Old Johnny went back to Wall Street, made a few more millions, and the place was sold.
And here we are. Well, I have to go find Mrs. Owen. The others will be up in a minute.
It would be rude for you to leave me here by myself, wouldn't it?
Would it? Well, I wonder where she is.
She'll come along when she's ready. While we're waiting, do you mind if I have a drink? I'm fairly dry.
Of course you could.
It's awfully warm after that steep climb. What's yours?
No, thanks. Not for me. Not on duty.
The secretary's never off duty.
Really. This is exciting.
What?
All this, the smell of the sea, the gulls, the beach, and this lovely house. I'm going to enjoy myself.
I think you are. I think we both are. Here's to you. Very lovely.
Where's Mrs. Owen?
Mr. and Mrs. Owens will be down from London until tomorrow, miss. I thought you knew.
What, tomorrow, but...
I have a list of the guests expected, miss. If you would like to have it, the second one was just right.
Thank you. How awful. I say, you'll be sweet and help me, won't you?
I won't leave from your side.
Thank you. Seems silly to have brought only us in the first boat and all the rest in the second.
That, I'm afraid, was designed, not accident.
Design? What do you mean?
I just suggested to the boatman that there was no need to wait for any more passengers. That and 5 shillings soon started the engine.
Well, you shouldn't have done
They
that.
weren't a very exciting lot, were they?
Well, I thought the young woman was rather nice looking.
Callow. Definitely callow. Very, very young.
I suppose you think a man in his 30s is more attractive?
I don't think, my darling, I know.
Where's the place you boat here? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid. It won't be down until tomorrow.
Oh, too bad.
May I introduce Captain Lombard, Miss...
Marston, Anastasia Marston.
Have a drink?
Thank you.
What do you have? Gin, whiskey, sherry?
Whiskey,
Oh, how do you do? Wonderful place to have here.
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid. It won't be down until tomorrow.
Say when.
How was it?
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do? My name's Lombard. Have a drink, Mr.
Oh, Davis. Davis is the name.
Mr. Davis, Miss Marston.
Oh, how do you do, Miss Marston? Oh, thank you. Don't mind if I do. Quite a stiff climb up here, wasn't it? But, whew, what a view! And what a height! Reminds me of South Africa, this place.
Does it? What part?
Natal, Durban, you know?
Really?
Well, here's the temperance. Do you, know South Africa?
Me? No.
Oh, well, that's where I come from. That's my, natal state. And,
Interesting country, I should think.
oh, finest country in the world, sir. Gold, silver, diamonds, oranges, everything a man could want. Talk about a land flowing with beer and skills.
Ah, how do you do? General Mackenzie, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. He introduced Captain Lombard, Miss Marston, and Mr.
Oh, Davis. Davis is the name.
Whiskey and soda, man?
Thanks. Name of the service?
Formerly the King's African Rifles, to take for me in the peacetime. I took it.
Where is Mrs. Owen?
Miss Brent, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Indeed, extraordinary. Did she miss the train?
I expect so. Won't you have something? May introduce Captain Lombard, General Mackenzie, Miss Marston, I think you all met on the boat, and Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name. May I take your case?
Have a drink, ma'am? Whiskey and soda, dry martini?
I never touch alcohol.
You never touched alcohol.
I suppose you know, young man, that you left us standing there on the wharf.
I'm afraid, Miss Brent, I was to blame for that. You see, I'm
It
not...
seems to me most extraordinary that Mrs. Owen should not be here to receive her guests.
Perhaps she's the kind of person who just can't help missing trains.
That's what I expect she is.
Not at all. Mrs. Owen isn't the least like that.
Perhaps it was her husband's fault.
She hasn't got a husband. I should like to go to my room.
Yes, of course. I'll take you there.
Miss Rogers is upstairs. She'll show you to your room.
I'm afraid our hostess hasn't arrived yet, ma'am. My name's Lombard. How do you do, Miss?
Margaret, Judge Josephine Margaret.
Have a drink?
Yes, whiskey, please.
A wonderful place to have here, really quite unique.
As you say, yes, it is quite unique.
You drink, Ben?
Oh, Badger Berkeley rolled up here yet.
Who?
Badger Berkeley, he wrote theme for this show. When's he coming?
I don't think he is, nor is the name of Patrick.
What? The dirty old double-crosser! He's let me down. Well, it's a pretty wizard island. A wizard girl, that secretary. She ought to liven things up a bit, I say. Old man, how about dressing for dinner if there's time?
Let's go and explore.
How wizard?
It's been at 6s and 7s with the Owens not turning up.
Tricky. Wizard place for a holiday.
Aren't you going to sit down?
Well, to tell you the truth, you seem to be in my chair.
I'm sorry, I did not realize you were one of the family.
Well, it's not that exactly. Tell you the truth, I've never been here before. But you see, I live at the big club and have for the last 10 years. And my seat is just about there. Can't get used to sitting anywhere else.
Comes a bit of a habit.
Yes, it certainly does. Thank you. Well, it's not quite as good as the clubs, but it's a nice chair. To tell you the truth, I was a bit surprised when I received this invitation. Haven't had anything of the kind for well over 4 years. Very nice of them, I thought.
May I have your keys, ma'am?
Is Lady Constance Cummington expected here, do you know?
Lady Constance Clemington. I don't think so, ma'am. Unless she's coming down with Mr. and Mrs. Owen.
Oh.
Oh, allow me. have your keys, ma'am?
No thanks. I'll pack myself.
Dinner's at 8 o'clock. Shall I show you two to your rooms?
Please.
Here you are, sir. Uncle Rogers.
Oh, how do you do? Davis. Davis is the name.
Mine's Armstrong.
Oh, Dr. Armstrong, I believe.
Yes.
I thought so. Never forget a face.
Don't tell me I forgot one of my patients.
Oh, no, nothing like that. It's just that I once saw you in court giving expert evidence.
Oh, really? Are you interested in law?
Oh, well, you see, I'm from South Africa. Naturally, the legal processes in this country are bound to interest the colonial. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Would you like a drink?
No thanks, I never touch it.
Do you mind if I do? Mine's empty.
Not a bit.
I've been having a look around this island. Wonderful place, isn't it?
Wonderful. I thought I was coming across the mainland, but a heaven of peace this was.
Too peaceful for some, I dare say.
Wonderfully restful. Wonderful for the nerves. I'm a nurse specialist, you know.
Oh, yes, I know that. Did you come down by train?
No, I motored down. Dropped in on a patient on the way. Great improvement. Wonderful response.
Best part of 200 miles, isn't it? How long did it take you?
I didn't hurry. I never hurry. Back in the nerves.
Ah.
Some memories young lady who drove me into a ditch near Amsterdam. Shot past me about 80 miles an hour. Disgraceful bit of driving. Let's have had her number.
Yes, and if only more people would take the numbers of these young road hogs.
Yes, you must excuse me. I must have a word with Mr. Owen.
Oh, but Mr. Rowan isn't coming down. Okay.
You mind, sir?
Oh, yes. Take my case, won't you? When's supper?
Dinner's at 8 o'clock. In a quarter of an hour. Dressing will be optional.
Wonderful place to have here.
Thank you, sir.
Been here long?
No, sir.
So I don't suppose you know much about the people that's here.
No, sir.
All friends of the family?
I really couldn't say, sir.
Oh, Roger! Would you mind putting some sandwiches and a bottle of beer in my room at night? I get quite an appetite with this sea air.
I'll see what I can do, sir.
Oh, Roger! I'll see you won't lose by it. Where's my room?
I'll show you, sir.
Oh, good. I can do the wash and brush up straight away.
What do you think of the island?
What did you ask me?
The weather is great out here, isn't it?
Yes, it is lovely.
Don't you think it's weird for the homeless that's showing up?
Oh, there you are, Roger. You like to clear these dirty glasses. You're always leaving the dirty work to me. Here I am with a four-course dinner on my hands and no one to help me. And you want to help me with the dishing up? And who's that you were talking to, Roger?
Davis, South African gentleman. No class, if you ask me. And no money either.
I don't like them much. Don't like any of them, much like the bunch you had at the boarding house, I'd say.
Davis gets off, he's a millionaire or something. You just see, oh my God, you should see his money.
Well, like I said, Roger, it's not treating us right. All these guests arriving today and their maids not coming till tomorrow. What do they think we are?
Now then, anyway, the money's good.
The money's good. So it ought to be. Catch me going back into service again, unless the money was good.
It is good. So what are you going on about?
Well, I can tell you this, Rogers. I'm not staying any place where I could have gone. The kitchen is my business. I'm a good cook.
First rate, old girl.
And the kitchen is my place, and this housework is none of my business. All these guests, I have a good mind to put on my hat and coat and go straight back to home.
You can't do that.
Who says I can? Why not? I'd like to know.
You're on an island. Have you forgotten that?
I don't know how fancy being on an island.
Don't know that I do either. Come to that. No slipping down to the pub or going to the movies. Oh, well, double wages on account of difficulties, and there's plenty of beer in the house.
That's all you ever think about, beer.
Oh, stop your nagging, Edwin. Get back to that kitchen, or you're gonna be spoiled.
I suppose it'll be spoiled anyway. Everyone's going to relate, wasted upon them. Thank goodness I didn't make this up. Oh, you don't want to be a minute man. Just a question of dishing up.
Is everything all right, Rogers? Can you manage between the two of you?
Yes, miss. Mrs. talks a lot, but she gets the job done.
What a lovely evening.
Yes, indeed. The weather seems very, settled.
How plainly one can hear the sea. Hardly a breath of wind, and deliciously warm. Not like England at all.
I should have thought you might feel a little uncomfortable in that dress.
Not really.
It's rather tight, isn't it?
Well, I don't think so.
You'll excuse me, my dear, but you're a young lady. You've got your living to earn.
Yes?
A well-bred woman doesn't like her secretary to appear flashy. It appears, you know, as though you were trying to attract the attention of the, opposite sex.
Oh, would you say that I do attract them?
That's beside the point. A woman who deliberately sets out to get the attention of men won't be likely to keep her job long.
Well, surely that depends on who she's working for.
Really, Miss Claythorne,
Aren't you being a little unkind?
young people nowadays behave in the most disgusting fashion.
Disgusting.
Yes, low-backed evening dresses, lying half naked on beaches, all this so-called sunbathing, an excuse for immodest conduct, nothing more. Familiarity, Christian names, drinking cocktails. Look at the young men nowadays. Decadent. Look at the young Marston, what good is she? And that Captain Lombard.
What do you object to in Captain Lombard? I should say he was a man who led a very varied and interesting life.
The man's an adventurer. This younger generation is no good. No good at all.
You don't like youth, I see.
What's that supposed to mean?
I was just remarking that you don't like young people.
And is there any reason why I should, pray tell?
Oh no, it seems to me that you must miss an awful lot.
You're very impertinent.
I'm sorry, but that's just what I think.
The world will never improve until we step out of honesty.
Quite pathological.
What?
Nothing.
So what do you think of the old girl?
She looks like a tortoise, don't you think?
All judges who got tortoises, they have that enemy's way of turning their heads in and out. It's Justice Wargrave is no exception.
I didn't realize she was a judge.
Oh yes, she's probably been more responsible for sending more innocent people to their death than anyone in England. Oh hey you two know each other, Mr. Armstrong and Miss Claythorne? We just decided that the old girl looks an awful lot like
Yes, I heard you, and so did she, I think.
Oh, Lady Josephine. Miss Princess, there's something I want to speak to you about. Will you join me outside?
Remarkably fine knife.
Absolutely, was it not? A supercharged sports valet, Carlotta. You don't see many of them on the road. I can get over 100 out of her.
Did you come from London?
Yes, 208 miles, and I did it in a bit over 4 hours. Too many cars on the road, though, to keep it up. Such a 90 going over Salisbury Plain. Not too bad, eh?
I think you passed me on the road.
Oh, yes.
You nearly drove me into a ditch.
Did I? Oh, sorry.
If I'd have seen your number, I'd reported you.
But you were fiddling along in the middle of the road.
Foot. Me. Footling?
Oh well, how about a drink?
Good idea. Will you have one this thing? No, thank you.
Good evening, son.
Why, Mrs. Owen?
I just believe you make the most attractive wife for any wealthy businessman.
Do you always flirt so outrageously?
Always.
Well, now we know.
So what do you think Miss Brennan, the judge, talked to you about upstairs?
I don't know. Funny, she seemed so definite that there wasn't Mr. Owen.
Well, you don't think that, Mr. and Mrs. Owen aren't really Mr. and Mrs.
What? Married, you mean?
Damn shame we don't know each other. I could have given you a lift down.
Yes, that would have been grand. Like to show you what I can do across Salisbury today.
Tell you what, maybe we can drive back together.
Oh,
But it seems damn silly. I've got an empty car.
Yeah, but she finds some ways to getting back now.
oh look! Aren't they neat, those 10 little China soldiers? Oh, and there's the old nursery rhyme.
What are you talking about? What soldiers, what nursery rhyme?